everybody, and welcome to Crafted by Corie. If you are new, I'm Corie, and I am really excited that you are here. For my subscribers, thank you so much for your continued support. I just appreciate you so much with all of the love you send my way, with all the comments and sharing my videos. I'm just beyond words. So thank you, thank you, thank you. If you have not already subscribed, please consider hitting that subscribe button. It is absolutely free to do so. And make sure you hit the little bell because that'll notify you every time I upload a new video. Today I have 5 new fall and farmhouse DIYs for you, all on a fantastic budget. Today's projects are all but one either inspired or dupes of more expensive items. And so I'll be sharing my inspiration pictures with you as we go. So you're also going to want to watch all the way to the end because I have 2 announcements for you today. A couple of things I'm going to be sharing, so be sure to watch so that you don't miss out. And if you like what you're seeing, always please be sure to give me a big thumbs up because it really does help support my channel. All right, without further ado, let's go ahead and get started with today's projects. Here we go with DIY number 1. So this is my inspiration picture, $24.99 on sale at Wayfair. We're gonna use Dollar Tree supplies. The welcome came in a pack of 3 with other words. This is an 8x10 canvas frame. And then I'm going to be using just 1 leaf. These are also from Dollar Tree, and I got them in gold too, so I was trying to decide which color I wanted to use. Then we're also going to use Waverly chalk paint in the color Moss. The first thing I'm going to be doing is taking off the canvas, so I'm just using my Dollar Tree craft knife to cut that away. I'm going to set that aside, and then I'm going to make sure that I remove the rest of the canvas and all of those staples because I want to make sure that that is completely clear for when I go to reattach the canvas later on. Because with my luck, I would hit a staple with my staple gun. So then I'm going to trim away all of the extra canvas because I don't want that hanging over when I do attach it to the frame. I did realize that I probably could have done that step after this. So I'm just going to give it 1 good coat of the Waverly chalk paint in Moss. It would have been probably a little bit easier if I had trimmed it afterwards, but I'm honestly not worried about getting all the way up to these edges because when I do stretch it back over the frame, those edges will be hidden, so you'll still only see the green area. So I thought I was going to use this gold folk art paint. It is an acrylic paint, and it would be great if I was just trying to make the sign look old, almost like a patina, but as far as the coverage I was looking for, it just was not working. So I was like, yeah, forget it. Here comes the pumpkin chalk paint by Waverly, and I gave the sign 3 coats of the chalk, of the chalk paint. Just let it dry in between coats. So then I took the frame and my Java chalk paint from Home Decor, it's folk art, and I gave the frame 1 good coat of paint. This was really great coverage. I didn't need more than a single coat, so that worked out really well. So I missed the footage there, but then I just stretched my canvas back and used my staple gun to attach it to the back of the frame. And then I did decide that I was going to use the gold leaf instead of the burgundy one. I just like the way that it popped a little bit more. And if you've watched my video recently, you know I love a little bit of bling. I love my farmhouse, but I love a little bit of bling. So this is making me a little bit happy with the sparkle going on there. And now I'm using just a couple of little pieces of dowel, also from the Dollar Tree. I've trimmed those down and I'm going to use them to help our welcome sign straddle the leaf. So this is a 3D type of sign. Using some hot glue to attach it to the canvas after that. And then we are all done. What do you think? Let me know in the comments. So here we go for DIY number 2. This one is purely original. This is a little home sign from Dollar Tree. I've got my sheepskin chalk paint, the moss chalk paint again, and then this is a little pipberry garland that I picked up from Joann's. Now I started to go in and paint this, and then I realized there were a lot of rough edges here, so I'm going to come in with a nail file and stick that in, because I just found that it was really easy to get into all those little crevices, and sand that away. So then, using the sheepskin chalk paint, I gave the base one coat. It was really bright coverage. I was afraid that the wood was going to absorb the paint, but the chalk paint worked really, really well on the natural wood. So I only needed one coat of that. And then I came in with the moss Waverly chalk paint and gave, again, just one coat on the home part of the sign. Once that was all dry, I took my pipberry garland and I just decided to wrap it around the bottom base of the home sign, just to give it a little bit more interest and tie in some more of the fall colors. And so I just attached that with some hot glue, and then I wrapped it around a couple of times and secured it with some more glue in a couple of spaces where I thought it needed a little bit of extra support. So once I had it around there twice, I got it back to the starting point, and I just trimmed that off and secured it with some more hot glue. So now you could totally leave it like this, but I decided I wanted to do a little something more for it. So I took some raffia, also from the Dollar Tree, and I just took a single strand and I tied a simple little bow, just like if you were tying your shoelaces. So just a simple little bow, and then I trimmed off the ends. I don't know why I was using my wire cutters to trim raffia, but it was there, so. And then I just attached the little bow to the top of the O with a bit of hot glue. This is such a simple project, you guys. Anybody can do this. It's so nice and easy. There you go. Isn't that sweet? Here we go with DIY number 3. This is my inspiration picture for, this is somewhat of a dupe, $35.96, you guys. I'm making it for $2, actually less than that. So I've got a couple of the dowels, 6-inch dowels from Dollar Tree that I showed you. That little wooden oval is also from Dollar Tree. The Thankful is part of that packet that I also had the welcome sign in. I'm going to be using my drill. Going to be using some Rust-Oleum 2x spray paint in black satin, and then I was just showing you my Bear wax in dark. I'm taking a straight edge to begin with because I wanted to make sure that my dowels ended up lining up. So then I'm going to come in with some Gorilla Glue and secure my dowels to the back of my sign. Now, if I had to do it over again, I would have cut one of these dowels in half and used the 2 pieces, because this ended up being a lot taller than the inspiration picture. This is actually, I guess, more like a dupe. But I just found it to be a little bit taller than I really probably wanted it to be. But then I came back in with some hot glue just for that immediate hold so that I could continue working with the project. So then I was letting that kind of just rest a little bit and wanted to mark my base with the points at which I would need to drill my holes for those dowels. So I made sure that I was at the same distance from either side, and then just wanted to make sure that the dowels were the right distance apart. So I measured that all up, and then I measured my drill bit by making sure that the straight end of the bit was going to be just a teeny tiny bit larger than the dowel itself. And that way I knew that my little hole was going to be just the right size to fit my dowel in. Now, when I'm when I am drilling this, I am not going all the way through. It wouldn't hurt it if you went all the way through. I just didn't want to. So I went probably half to 3/4 of the way through my wood base, if you will. And I just kind of eyeballed it. So that was that. And then I went ahead and spray painted the dowels with my sign. I came in with my heat gun and dried that up a little bit and then sprayed the other side as well. So now on the base, while that's drying, I'm using my bare wax in the dark, and I'm just gonna give it a good coat and then rub it down all over. And I'm gonna do this on both sides. I just like having the things finished. I know nobody is probably gonna even look at the bottom, but I know it's there, so I just like having it finished. So now once my Thankful is completely dry, I've got my base there, and I'm going to make sure that my dowels are going to fit right into the little holes that I've drilled, and they do, so I'm very happy with that. So taking them out and using a little bit of hot glue. I probably filled this holes about halfway with hot glue. And then I'm gonna drop those dowels right back in there and just hold it in place until the hot glue is cool enough to support the sign. And it actually held really well, you guys. I didn't have any problem with it. You can see it's even stiffening up as we watch here. And you can see it's not kind of flopping around at all there. So here we go with DIY number 4. This is something that's super cute at Hobby Lobby, on sale for $18, normally $30. We are going to be making this for less than $1, you guys. So I mixed up some orange chalk paint. This was the pumpkin chalk paint with a little bit of yellow porch. I think it's called Sunny Porch or something like that. And then a little bit of imperial red because I wanted my paint color to be a little bit darker than the regular pumpkin shade. So giving the wood just a single coat of paint, that was all it took on all sides. And then I'm also going to be using one of these wood planks from the Dollar Tree with some Java chalk paint. And those wood planks came 6 to a pack. And that wood before that I had, by the way, is all scrap wood that I had out in my garage from other projects, so it was free to me. And you can get free wood. I had learned from Holly at Hot Humble Pie, Home Depot often has like a wood pile, but I've also learned, oh, and here's my yellow Sharpie. I'm going to come in and write pumpkin on here. But I've also learned that you can sometimes find free wood on Facebook Marketplace, so you might want to check that out. But I'm just trying to figure out how I want to write my letters here. I'm very visual, so I gotta kind of go through the motions before I feel comfortable starting to write things out. Now, it'd been a while since I'd used this paint marker, so it wasn't coming out the way that it should have. You can see it's really pale right now, so I do end up going back over it once I get the paint marker working properly after a little bit of a mishap, but it all worked out well in the end. You can see I'm trying to get it to work better, and oh yeah, that really happened. So I wiped it away and all was fine. I touched it up with a little bit more of the brown chalk paint, the Java chalk paint, a little bit later. So it all came out well. Of course, I had gotten a phone call, turned off my camera, and then forgot to turn it back on again. So I didn't catch everything when I was actually writing it out. But here you can see me just going back over everything to make it a little bit darker. And this paint pen, the Sharpie paint pen, actually worked really well for what I needed here. And you can see I'm just taking my time, going slow with it, and then just going back over my lines. And if you make any kind of a mistake, you can always come back in with your Java chalk paint or whatever color you're using and just do a little bit of touch up. Paint is great because you can just paint right over it. And there you go with the pumpkins sign. So now I'm going to be using this washi tape that I got at Dollar Tree as well. And it's interesting, I've never used this before. It almost feels like a paper tape. And I wasn't sure, because it's not super sticky, so I wasn't sure how well this was going to do as far as being used for painter's tape, but it was thinner than the painter's tape that I had, and I wanted something that was going to allow, you know, a lot more room than what my painter's tape was going to allow. And I've seen other people use this, so I figured I would give it a shot and see what happens. Like I said, paint, if you have a mishap, you can always touch it up or paint over it or do whatever you need to do. So for this one, I am just going to be creating some stripes using the Imperial Red chalk paint by Home Decor. This is a folk art brand, and I just gave it a couple of coats of the chalk paint. So here's the reveal, and guess what, you guys? It worked really well. And I don't know if it's because these particular pieces of wood were really smooth, but it actually created really crisp lines. I don't think I had any bleeding at all. I was really happy with it. So for this one, I'm using the Porch, I think it's called Porch. It's a light yellow chalk paint by Home Decor again, with my little foam round brush, and I'm just doing the polka dots on this one. Now this is supposed to be a dupe. I think it's a pretty close dupe. I did realize that I put the stripes on the shortest piece of wood, and it really should have gone on the middle-sized piece of wood. Or did I get that backward? I don't know. Yeah, I think I got that backward. Anyway, I did them opposite of what they should have been. So now I've got my linen white chalk paint, and I'm going to be doing the little rickrack zigzags for this. So now I'm going to be using some tumbling tower blocks and my Gorilla wood glue. I'm using the ones that are already painted brown for the tumbling tower blocks. I've got 3 of them, using a little bit of wood glue and a little bit of hot glue for that instant hold. Sorry that I was a little bit out of frame there. These were a little taller than my camera was accommodating for. Using some more raffia from the Dollar Tree. And I'm just using 2 strands of each. I ended up folding the lengths in thirds, and then again tying a little bow, just like I did with the home sign, just with a thicker set of raffia, if you will. So you can see there, I've got my little bow tied, and I'm gonna lay these down. I figured easier for me to work on and easier for you all to see. So here I'm doing it again. I'll do that for all 3 pumpkins, and then I'm just gonna come in and attach the bows with some hot glue. So while I'm doing this, I'm going to tell you about one of my exciting announcements. At least it's exciting for me. I wanted to share with you all. I have gotten a lot of comments that have really warmed my heart. People just saying that they really enjoyed the project and they were going to give it a shot themselves. And I have asked everyone to just go ahead and share with me on Instagram, tag me if they so chose, so that I could see what you are all making, because I'm really excited to see your projects. Now, it occurred to me that not all of you are necessarily on Instagram. So if you are not on Instagram, or even if you are, I would love for you, if you'd like to share, to email me your project, and I, with your permission, would love to give you a shout out on my videos. So if you do one of the projects and you'd like to have a shout out, you can email me at craftedbycorie@gmail.com and just state that I have your permission to share your project on one of my videos, and I would love to give you a shout out. So now you saw that I came in with some foliage that was leftover foliage from another project, just hot glued that all in, and now I'm using the wired jute cord from the Dollar Tree. And I'm just twisting it around my finger, or I think I started with a paintbrush and then I went to twisting it around my finger. Again, I'm a little bit out of frame here, but I will show you in a minute what I was doing. I was also using a little bit of hot glue to secure the ends because it will unravel on you if you don't do that. It just starts fraying and then you've got the wires sticking out, and yeah. So once I have them curled the way that I want them, I am just twisting it around. There you go. See how I'm just looping it around my finger? It's so pliable, you can twist it however you so choose with these. But once I have it the way that I want it, I am just wrapping that around the stem of the pumpkin and just attaching it or securing it with some hot glue at the back of the little stem. And I did paint the back of these, you guys. I know I mentioned before I like everything finished, but I was also keeping in mind that I'll be able to use the back of these for another project. So I'll be able to have a two-sided project going on. So now that they're all set, I'm gonna attach my little pumpkins sign to the middle pumpkin. And I'm just gonna use a whole bunch of hot glue to do this. Now, the Hobby Lobby version of this had all three pumpkins attached to one another. I opted not to do that because I figured it would just give me more flexibility. But there they are, cute, right? Here we go with DIY number 5. This is our inspiration photo. It's on sale at Wayfair for $24, $23.99. I'm gonna be making it for practically free, using a bunch of chalk paint colors and pumpkin and Java, Imperial Red, and the moss again. I've also created, yep, there's the moss. I've also created with my cameo silhouette, or silhouette cameo, some stencils, and I have some more free wood. Now this wood I know I got for free from Home Depot, and I've just cut it down to the sizes that I wanted. I believe these are 7 inches long, and then 8.5, and then 10. So gave them all a good coat of the Java chalk paint. And now I'm starting in with a little bit more than a dry brush, especially in the center with the pumpkin on the one. And then I'll be doing the same thing with the other blocks for the burgundy and the green. And I did not bother with the long edges of these blocks because we are going to be stacking them, but I did do the ends, and I ended up doing both sides again, also with the thought in mind that I could make this a reversible project at some point. So coming in with the moss for the largest piece. Then I was mixing together a little bit of the Java with the Imperial Red to get to the burgundy color that I wanted. And I'm sorry if you guys are getting a little bit of background noise. My pup Sammy is keeping me company here, and he is chewing on a rawhide and making a little bit of noise. And I can also hear his little collar rattling. So apologies if you're picking up any of that background noise. So once everything was dry, I went ahead and applied my stencils. So you can see them all here. And we're gonna do a little bit of an experiment. I had learned from Natalie at Design to the Nines that when stenciling, if you use the same color chalk paint as your base, it'll help with bleed when you use the color that you want to be using finally. Now, because I mixed a burgundy color, I didn't think to mix enough of it, so I didn't have it left over to do that for my middle block. So I'm going to be using Mod Podge for that one, and we'll see how this experiment works. The chalk paint base versus the Mod Podge, which I'm now putting down. And I showed you what I'm using here. These are little makeup sponges, also from the Dollar Tree. They come in a pack of, I think it's something like 2 dozen. There's a whole bunch of them in there. And I just cut them down to whatever size I want to work with. And then I kind of stipple it. Here I was kind of smooshing it along the edges because these pieces of wood had a little bit more of a texture to them, and I was pretty certain that if I didn't do a really good job of sealing those edges, I was going to have a lot of bleeding going on. So that's why you kind of see me smooshing it towards the edges in some places. But you can see here I'm stippling it as you normally would with a stencil, but then there are some places where I'm kind of just wanting to, like right there, make sure that my edges are locked in. So by doing this way, any bleeding is going to be in this base color, and hopefully it'll seal it. So now we're going to be using the Linen White by Rust-Oleum. This is another chalk paint, and I'm going to come in and go over what I did in the other color with the white. And I went through and gave each of these 2 coats of the white chalk paint just to make sure I had a nice crisp white color going on. And we'll see which one, what do you think is going to win? Do you think we're going to have less bleeding with the colors or less bleeding with the Mod Podge? So here we go, we're about to find out. So pulling it up, and it's looking pretty good with the pumpkin color. I did have a little tiny bit of bleeding here and there, but not too bad. And I was able to go back in with a little bit more of the pumpkin chalk paint and touch up the areas that needed it. And here I am being lazy again because I had a protractor on my craft table, so why bother going over to my Silhouette to get my weeding tool when I've got a protractor right there? So actually, to be honest, I figured I did start to go and get my weeding tool, but I figured that this little protractor had a sharper point on it, and it was going to help me get some of those pieces up without gouging it. So here we go, we're peeling up with the Mod Podge. Now, the Mod Podge definitely had bled. I could see bits of Mod Podge all around my letters, which is fine, but I didn't really want to be able to see that. There was an easy fix. I ended up just Mod Podging everything, but what you just saw right there, one thing with the Mod Podge with this particular project, it was pulling up my paint with it when I was taking off some of the stencil. So not only was the stencil coming up, but some of my lettering that I had painted came up with it because the Mod Podge was just peeling right up off of the chalk paint that was serving as my base. So again, not a big deal. I was able to go in and touch it up with some white chalk paint, so no harm, no foul, but you can see the base of my T is missing, the A got a little messed up, but I didn't have, and then I had a little tiny bit of white bleeding, but not a whole lot. The green, for whatever reason, worked out the best. So I had really nice crisp edges on the green block and didn't have to do any touch up, if I recall. So that one worked out really well. So just weeding away, making sure that I'm getting all of these little pieces. I did miss one at first in the S, so you're gonna see when I show you in a second that I missed one of the little lines there, but I ended up figuring it out and I got it before I Mod Podged it. So, but that one's nice and crisp. So here I am, I'm just going over it with Mod Podge, and you know, happy accident, right? I didn't intend to do this originally, but because of the way that I did that thanks block, I needed to, because otherwise there was like this shiny stuff around all my letters, even though this is a matte Mod Podge. So just went ahead and sealed them all in, and I actually think it's for the best because they ended up looking really great, nice and finished. Now, if you're looking for more of a rustic look, maybe you don't want that little sheen on it, but I was happy with it. I thought it looked really pretty. So now I'm going to go ahead and stack them. Going to be using the Gorilla Wood Glue, and that'll give a nice strong bond. So I'm going to use that down the middle, and then I will use some hot glue on either end of the wood glue. I'm being careful not to mix the glues together, but doing that so that I'll have that instant bond so that I can continue to work with the project. So doing that on the one block and then doing it on the final block. And I'm putting the glue on the smaller block each time so that I know exactly how much surface area I need to cover with glue. Hopefully that makes sense. And then just making sure everything is nice and centered. And if you get any of the glue kind of oozing out with the wood glue, which it sometimes does, not a big deal, wipe it away and it actually will dry clear. So now I'm using a buffalo check ribbon that I had gotten at Hobby Lobby on sale. It was 50% off when I bought it, and I think this particular roll was $7.99 originally, and I want to say it was 30 feet. I think that's what it was. Don't hold me to it. But wrapping it around the whole set of blocks and tying a knot at the top. Now I'm taking a loop of the same ribbon and I'm just going to squish it in the middle, and I'm going to use my little tails that I've already knotted to tie a knot again. But before I pull it tight, I'm going to slide that one end underneath the whole thing so that when I pull it tight, the knot ends up underneath so you can't see the knot. So it makes a really pretty finished top, right? And then I'm going to slip the other tail under as well so that my tails are both on the same side of my bow. Really easy bow, right? And then I'm going to dovetail my ends, folding the ribbon in half and just cutting it on an angle. And I'll do that on the other side as well. There you go, you guys. I am super proud of this project. I really, really love it. So here we go with the final reveal. So I didn't mention my other exciting news. I am now monetized thanks to all of you for watching and subscribing and all of your support. So I am going to be having a giveaway. All you have to do is comment in the comment section. Tell me which of these projects you liked the most, and you will be entered in the drawing for a whole bunch of Dollar Tree items that I'm pulling together, and I cannot wait to share. Okay, everybody, that's it for today's projects. I hope that you enjoyed them. If you did, please give me a big thumbs up because, again, it does support my channel. Reminder to be sure to comment. Hopefully you heard about both announcements. I would love for every single person to participate. I'm really excited about these latest developments, if you will. And if you haven't already subscribed, please be sure to hit the subscribe button and ring that little bell so you get notified every time I upload a new video. Now, for anyone who might think that I've got it all together, yeah, I do my best, but yeah, no. So I had some extra challenges trying to record my intro and my outro, they call it, for today's video. So I thought maybe I would include some bloopers for your entertainment. So if you'd like to watch the bloopers, stay tuned and those will come right now. Okay, everybody, that's it for death. Hey everybody, welcome to Crafted by Corie. It's really great to be If you have not already subscribed, please be sure to hit that little subscribe button so that you... Nope. Hi everybody, welcome back to Crafted by Corie. If you're new, I'm Corie and I'm really excited that you're here. Stupid fly. If you are new and have not yet subscribed, please think about So, want to let you know today we have 5 new, oh my gosh. Okay, that's it for everybody. Okay, everybody, so Yeah. So today we have 5 new fall and farmhouse DIYs. I'm really happy to share some of these with you. Well, I'm happy to share all of them with you, but I'm really super excited about some of them. So yeah. For those of you who are not already subscribed, if you'd like to join us, please be sure to hit that little button to hit, oh my goodness, I can't talk. Okay, here we go for take 37. So until next time, be well, be kind, and make it a great day. Thanks so much for watching. Bye.